Good afternoon. Welcome to the PASSHE West virtual session for Mutual of Omaha Advisors. Thank you for joining us. We are recording this session today. So at this time, I would like to introduce our speaker, Leanne Watson. Leanne, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
So Leanne, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with your organization.
Sure. So my name is Leanne Lawson, as Bridget said. I am the recruiting and onboarding manager for Mutual of Omaha Advisors for our Pittsburgh and Harrisburg offices, but I am a part of their Northeastern division that runs from Pittsburgh all the way over to the Philadelphia area. I've been recruiting for this organization for about 2 years now. I've actually been recruiting for a decade in general. I was in the retail space prior to entering into the finance industry. I'm a Penn State grad, so we are for sure. And I'm originally from Southern California. I have a rescue beagle and a rescue black lab German shepherd mix. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here. So it's a good time, good day.
Thank you so much for that information. We're excited to have you here with us today. So what do you find that employees and interns like best about your organization?
Well, I think just in general, it's just all about the transparency. I know even for candidates who, when we're going through our meetings and our interviews, even if we discover together that it's not the best fit for them, whether it's either at this time or for another reason, they really appreciate the fact that I was really thorough in terms of the opportunity and really just enabling them to make that decision for themselves and their own families. Because at the end of the day, it's really up to them and what they're passionate about. I'm only here to act as a resource. So I'm very fortunate to be able to have those types of relationships and to just, again, be as honest and transparent. I think that's what saves us the most time when we can just put everything on the table and then have them decide.
Good, thank you so much. So you mentioned opportunities. So what opportunities does your organization have for alumni, soon to be alumni, students, maybe who might be looking for internships?
Sure. So our organization actually has been around since 1909, and I know we're currently coming off of this pandemic. And it's funny, I was just telling Christy about this, but we've actually been prepared for this type of scenario for over 100 years now. We've been through the Great Depression and the Spanish flu. So for the particular offices out in the Pittsburgh and Harrisburg area, what I'm interviewing for, right now we have our entry-level financial advisor position. So really, anyone who's looking to be committed and coachable and vulnerable to the process, doesn't really matter where you come from or the educational background. The qualities that we look for as an organization are very intangible. And along with that, obviously our home base, our home office, Mutual of Omaha Insurance, is based off of in Omaha, Nebraska, and there's a multitude of opportunities there as well. So just depending on what your students are looking for, there's definitely, I'm sure, a resource that we can provide for them.
That's fantastic. So when you're talking about your organization and opportunities, what makes your organization, in your opinion, unique from other companies that might be similar?
Sure. Well, just based off of my experience, I'm new to finance myself, as I said before, only a couple of years in. And really what I'm finding is, unfortunately, this type of industry has a really just bad stereotype of people just wanting to be very transactional or, looking to make a quick dollar, perhaps consulting on something that, a client may or may not need. Whereas, Mutual of Omaha Advisors really focuses on building that relationship, and really just our goal, especially for our division, is just to really educate our communities on financial literacy and wellness and building that proper relationship. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. So any way that we can get out there and just be face-to-face with them, the business part can always come later. But first and foremost, it's just all about, again, building that relationship, building that trust. And that that's definitely what I look for.
Good. So, when thinking about positions or your organization, what is something that most people might not know or might even be surprised about to learn about your organization?
So I think the best thing, and maybe your students may or may not be aware, it's a little older, but Mutual of Omaha actually used to have a television show called Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And yeah, we're a big component of that, obviously, where we were in it. And if your students ask their parents about it, I'm sure they've heard of it one way or the other. So it's probably the most surprising thing. And yeah, I just think that just another thing is just we're our firm is a little smaller by choice, I feel, out in Pittsburgh, and so just having that family office vibe is something that they weren't expecting when they come into my office, and just the fact that we just interact with each other on a consistent basis. It's definitely, as I said before, a lot different than what an industry stereotype would be.
Good. Thank you so much. So a little bit earlier, you talked about the different opportunities that your organization has. So when somebody might be applying to a position, um, what are some tips that you might have for a candidate's resume or cover letter?
Oh, well, first and foremost, I don't like cover letters at all. I think it's just a reiteration of what's already on the resume. So, but really just keep in mind that every recruiter, every talent acquisition manager is very different. And I think just really doing your research on, who we are as a firm, who I am as a recruiter. Everyone, again, is looking for something a little bit differently. So for me, yes, please nix the cover letter. What I'm more about, because it's all about building the relationship. I always tell people I'm a people recruiter. I'm not a paper one. I could care less what your educational background is. The qualities that I look for are during times like these where we can have a real conversation. But as I'm going through, the tons of resumes that I get all the time, really, I kind of look for your interest and your volunteer experience. Yes, the educational background is very important too, and seeing what major you chose. And that way, when we do have those conversations, I can figure out your why, whether that's maybe your parents are in the industry, et cetera. But again, it's just the non-tangibles. I had somebody put that they liked crocheting at the bottom, like just a simple interest. And so it was really nice to be able to have that conversation, because my grandma taught me how to crochet, kind of making, I guess, taking that business aspect out of it and really just diving deep into that person. And those are things, unfortunately, you can't see on a resume, but it's something that I am passionate about and that I strive to do on a daily basis, is just figuring out your whys and your goals at the end of the day. But yes, I would say my tip would be nix the cover letter and the GPA, because unless you're applying for, somewhere where a program is taking the top 1%, it's really unnecessary.
Good. So those are fantastic tips. So when you're thinking about candidates and the positions that you have, what skills should candidates have to be successful in the position?
Sure. So first and foremost, my two biggest things are going to be commitment and coachability. Both of those are just extremely important. You have to really be dedicated to be in this career, because our clients now are going to stay with us for years on end. I'm not looking for someone who's just going to, try the next one on, if you will. I'm looking for a lifer, essentially, someone who really just wants to help people and grow with them. So commitment, coachability, definitely, you have to want to learn. I always tell people this is an industry that's impossible to master, and there are so many different avenues that you can go in order to build your craft into this industry. So really continuing that education post-graduation, really striving to not only be a better person, but a better professional is the expectation in our office, definitely. And, again, just being vulnerable to the process. A lot of people, unfortunately have it in their head that they want to do it their way. And that is really what hinders them from becoming as successful and really unleashing that potential. And just understanding that everybody, you know, is successful for a reason, but we're all going to get there together, and we're all a team. So you have to really just be open to that process. But yes, the commitment, the coachability, you know, obviously, again, people, business, it's a lot to learn, a lot of product knowledge. So having a natural confidence and communication. And again, just that entrepreneurial spirit, you know, just wanting to, you know, get there on your own terms, be your own boss kind of feel. I tell people, you know, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So wanting to be a part of a team, but still being able to take those reins. But again, just having that caveat, like it's all about that self-accountability, that time management. You have to have those at an extraordinary level to be successful with us.
Sure, thank you so much. So when we're talking about tips, what tips do you have for students or candidates as far as what they should or should not do in a job interview?
Oh, that's a great question. So for me, again, everyone's different. Well, my biggest thing is punctuality. I don't care if it's even 2 minutes early, but if I schedule at a certain time, make sure that you're getting there early, just so it allows you to kind of take a breath and, you know, get used to the office environment and just kind of get ready for yourself. You know, obviously this is a professional environment, so dressing as professional as you can is really important because we do have clients that are coming in and out as well. And really, quite frankly, just being yourself. I tell candidates all the time, and, you know, it doesn't really matter how much money a company is going to offer you. If you ever feel that you have to be two different people, how you act at home and how you act at work, get up and run. Don't look back. And that's just from my personal experience. I'm sure you can attest to that as well. It's not worth it. And, you know, just always make sure that you're asking the interviewer questions. You're interviewing the interviewer. And if at any point in time you feel uncomfortable or maybe they don't want to answer a certain question, that may or may not give you a good indication on, you know, how they're being treated, which would obviously in turn how you're being treated if you get hired. So, but definitely for me, being yourself is my number one. That's my biggest tip. And that way it does give candidates a good indication on whether or not this could be the type of career for them.
Great, thank you so much. So as we end the session and close our time together, what is one piece of information you'd like to leave students with, you know, as we close?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would just say have a conversation with anybody who's in the same role as I am. If it's something that you're interested in, you know, we're all human beings. We've all been on that side of the table as well. So, you know, definitely if you're speaking to me, for example, find me on LinkedIn, have a conversation with me. I'm more than happy to be a resource. And there's a lot of us out there who just are truly passionate about helping, especially college grads. You know, you guys are the next generation, and helping you guys find something that you'll love just makes us happy in general. But yeah, if anybody wants to have a conversation and to maybe have a meeting or have an interview, I have no problem, again, meeting with those certain people. Just go ahead and shoot me an email, send me your resume, or again, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very easy to find, and I'm more than happy to help you, whether it's for, you know, my team or not.
Great, thank you so much. So you mentioned LinkedIn. So do you recommend people connecting with you on LinkedIn if, you know, if they're interested in maybe doing an informational interview or positions?
Yeah, absolutely. So for LinkedIn, you know, I'm constantly connecting on people. That would probably be the easiest way. Even obviously we're on Handshake as well. So feel free to reach out to us there. I know all of my counterparts across the country are also on Handshake and LinkedIn. So even if your students aren't from this particular area, I can always make an introduction. You know, we're a big family across the country as well. But in terms of LinkedIn, what I usually do for people on that space is I email them a couple pieces to have them just read through like our general guiding principles of our division and what we offer to our advisors, just kind of like a value prop. And then that way, again, they can just take that home, read through it. And if they decide that this is something they're interested in, it just saves a lot of time, a lot more efficient. But yes, LinkedIn definitely would be the quickest way. The second would be just sending me your resume via email.
Great, thank you so much. And I think in the chat we do have your contact information. Leanne, is that correct? I think your email address. So I believe that is in the chat. And we also
Perfect.
have the website for Mutual of Omaha Advisors to take a look at careers in different positions to see what might be a good fit for you, because it really is a great opportunity with a great organization. So I will turn it to my colleague Chrissy. We'll check to see if there are any questions in the chat box.
We do not have any questions at this time, but I do through the chat. But I do want to ask one question: is do you have positions open regularly, or do you post them at a certain time and like to hire at a certain time frame?
So yeah, the positions are going to be always posted, and just depending on, how big our office gets. Right now I'm currently hiring, which is great. Usually probably around maybe Christmas time, we kind of reassess every quarter just to see where we're at and our hiring needs as well. So, but yeah, definitely the position is always posted, and we're always open to having a conversation at any point in time with anyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And right now we don't have any additional questions. So Bridget, I will pass it back to you.
Thank you, Chrissy. So Leanne, just one more thing that I was thinking about. Due to COVID-19, definitely place environments have changed, as well as students looking for internships. Some students are looking for remote opportunities. Is there an ability for a student to possibly do an internship remotely?
Not at this time, only because I'm actually onboarding a lot more than I had planned to for the full-time role. So there's only one of me. So right now I have halted that, and I know my counterpart, he just actually hired his intern as well. So definitely more to come. I'm going to reassess the program probably during the summer. And hopefully, by then everything will be open, and I'll be able to really dive into it for the fall as well.
Great, thank you so much. I appreciate that information and all the information that you've given to us. Leanne, thank you so much for your time today. We know how busy you are, and you're very busy doing a lot of hiring, which is fantastic. So we really thank you for taking your time out of your busy day to join us today.
Of course, it was my pleasure, Bridget, Christy. Thank you so much for your continued partnership. I'm looking forward to getting back on campus and helping you guys in whatever way that I can.
Great, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, and stay well.
Bye.